ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। तो हम लोग वी आर रीडिंग फ्रॉम कृष्णा बुक चैप्टर 43 entitled The Killing of the Elephant Kuvalayāpīḍa. So I will read one paragraph and then devotees can read. So ऋषिकेश प्रभु read करेंगे. After ऋषिकेश प्रभु, तेजस प्रभु can be ready. Chapter 43. The Killing of the Elephant Kuvalayāpīḍa. After taking their baths and finishing all other morning duties, Krishna and Balram could hear the beating of the kettle drums in the wrestling arena. They immediately prepared themselves to proceed to the spot to see the fun. When Krishna and Balram reached the gate of the wrestling arena, they saw a big elephant of the name Kuvalayāpīḍa being tended by a caretaker riding on its head. The caretaker was deliberately blocking their entrance by keeping the elephant in front of the gateway. Krishna could understand the purpose of the caretaker and he prepared himself by tightening his clothes before combating the elephant. He addressed the caretaker in a very grave voice, as resounding as a cloud. You miscreant caretaker, give way and let me pass through the gate. If you block my way, I shall send you and your elephant to the house of death personified. Okay, Rishikesh Prabhu.
The caretaker, being thus insulted by Krishna, became very angry, and in order to challenge Krishna, as was previously planned, he provoked the elephant to attack the elephant, then moved before Krishna like inevitable death. It rushed toward him and tried to catch him with its trunk, but Krishna very dexterously moved behind the elephant, being able to see only to the end of its trunk. The elephant could not see Krishna hiding behind its leg, but it tried to capture him with its trunk. Krishna again very quickly escaped capture, and he again ran behind the elephant and caught its tail. Holding the elephant by its tail, Krishna began to pull it, and with very great strength he dragged it for at least 25 yards, just as Garuda drags an insignificant snake. Krishna pulled the elephant from his side to that, from right to left, just as he used to pull a calf by its tail in his childhood. After this, Krishna went to front of the elephant and gave it a strong slap. He then slipped away from the elephant's view and ran to its back. Then, kneeling down on the ground, Krishna placed himself in front of the elephant's two legs and caused it to trip and fall. Krishna immediately caught up the elephant, thinking that he was still laying down, tired to push on an ivory tusk through the body of Krishna by forcibly stabbing into in it into the ground. Although the elephant was harassed and angry, the caretaker riding on its head tried to provoke it further. The elephant then rushed madly toward Krishna. As soon as it come within reach, Krishna caught hold of the trunk and pulled the elephant down. Then the elephant and caretaker fell. Krishna jumped up on the elephant, broke off one of his tusks, and with it killed the elephant. And the caretaker also, after killing the elephant, Krishna took it ivory tusk of his shoulder, decorated with drops of pers- perspiration and sprinkled with the blood of the elephant. He looked very beautiful, and thus he proceeded toward the wrestling arena. Lord Balram took the other looked very beautiful, and thus he proceeds toward the wrestling arena. Repeatal. Tusk of the elephant on his shoulder, accompanied by their boyfriends, they entered the arena.
Thank you. Uh, Tejas Prabhu.
When Krishna entered the wrestling arena, when Krishna entered the wrestling arena with Balram and their friends, he appeared differently to different people according to their different relationship prasad with him. Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure and all kind of prasad, both favorable and unfavorable. He appeared to the wrestlers exactly like a thunderbolt. To the people in general, he appeared as the most beautiful personality. To the females, he appeared to be the most attractive male, Cupid personified, and thus he increased their lust. The cowherd men who were present there looked upon Krishna as their own kinsman, coming from the same village of Vrindavan. The impious Kshatriya kings who were present saw him as the strongest ruler and their chastiser. To parents of Krishna, Nanda and Yashoda, he appeared to be most loving child. To Kamsa, the king of Bhoja dynasty, he appeared to be death personified. To the unintelligent, he appeared to be an incapable personality. To the yogis present, he appeared to be super soul. To the members of the Vrishni dynasty, he appeared to be the most celebrated descendant. Thus appreciated differently by different kinds of people, Krishna entered the wrestling arena with Balram and his coward boyfriends. Having heard that Krishna had already killed the elephant Kuvalayāpīḍa, Kamsa knew beyond doubt that Krishna was formidable. He thus became very much afraid of him. Krishna and Balram had long arms. They were beautifully dressed and they were attractive to all the people assembled there. They were dressed as if they were going to act on a dramatic stage and they drew the attention of all people.
Thank you. Sahil Prabhu.
Yes. The citizens of Mathura city who saw Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, became very much pleased and began to look on his face with insatiable glances, as if they were drinking the nectar of heaven. Seeing Krishna gave them so much pleasure that it appeared as if they were not only drinking the nectar of seeing his face, but were also smelling the aroma and licking up the taste of his body, and were embracing him and Balram with their arms. They began to talk among themselves about the two transcendental brothers. For a long time, they had heard of the beauty and activities of Krishna and Balram, but now they were personally seeing them face to face. They thought that Krishna and Balram were two plenary incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, who had appeared in Vrindavan.
Thank you. Aman Prabhu.
The citizens of Mathura began to recite Krishna's pastime. His birth as the son of Vasudeva, his being taken into the care of Nanda Maharaj and his wife in Gokula, and all those events leading to his coming to Mathura to favor them. They spoke of the killings of the demon Putana as well as the killings of Trinavatar, who came as a whirlwind. They also recall the deliverance of the twin brothers from within the Yamala Arjun trees. The citizens of Mathura spoke among themselves. Sankha, Chuda, Keshi, Dhenikashur, and many other demons were killed by Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. Krishna also saved all the cowherd men of Vrindavan from a devastating fire. He chastised the Kaliya snake in the water of the Yamuna, and he curbed the false pride of the heavenly king Indra. Krishna held up the great Govardhan hill in one hand for 7 continuous days and saved all the peoples of Gokul from incessant rain, hurricane, and hailstorm. They also began to remember other enlivening activities. The damsels of Vrindavan were so much pleased by seeing Krishna's beauty and participating in his activities that they forgot the troubles of material existence. By seeing Krishna and thinking of him, they forgot all sorts of fatigue. The Mathura citizens discussed the dynasty of Yadu, saying that because of Krishna's appearance in this dynasty, the Yadus would remain the most celebrated family in the whole universe. The citizens of Mathura then began to talk about Balarāma. They spoke of his very beautiful lotus petal eyes and they remarked of him, "This boy has killed the Pralamba demon, and many other also." While they were thus talking about the activities of Krishna and Balaram, they heard the vibration of different bands announcing the wrestling match.
Thank you. Dheeraj Prabhu is there?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, please read. And then Dhruv Prabhu can read.
The famous wrestler Chanura then began to talk with Krishna and Balarama. My dear Krishna and Balaram, he said, we have heard about your past activities. You are great heroes, and therefore the king has called you. We have heard that your arms are very strong. The king and all the people present here desire to see a display of your wrestling abilities. A citizen should be obedient and please the mind of the ruling king, acting in the way the citizen attains all kind of good fortune. One who does not care to act obediently is made unhappy because of the king's anger. You are cowherd boys, and we have heard that while tending cows in the forest, you enjoy wrestling with each other. We wish, therefore, for you to join with us in wrestling so that all the people present here, including the king will be pleased.
Thank you. Dhruv Prabhu.
Krishna immediately understood the purpose of Chanur's statements and he prepared to wrestle with him. But according to the time and the circumstances, he spoke as follows. You are the subject of the king of the Bhojas and you live in the jungle. We are also indirectly his subjects and we try to please him as far as possible. This offer of wrestling is a great favor of his. But the fact is that we are simply boys. We sometimes play in the forest of Vrindavan with our friends who are our own age. We think that to combat person of equal age and strength is good for us, but to fight great wrestlers like you would not be good for the audience. It would contradict their religious principle. Krishna thus indicated that the celebrated strong wrestlers should not challenge Krishna and Balram to fight.
Okay. So I will read last paragraph. In reply to this, Chanura said, My dear Krishna, we can understand very well that you are neither a child nor a young man. You are transcendental to everyone, as is your big brother Balram. You have already killed the elephant Kuvalayāpīḍa, who was capable of fighting thousands of other elephants. You have killed him in a wonderful way because of your strength. It behooves you to compete with the strongest wrestlers amongst us. I therefore wish to wrestle with you, and your elder brother Balram will wrestle with Mushtika. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 43rd chapter of Krishna, the killing of elephant Kuvalayāpīḍa. So we have time, and I think abhi 15 minute hua hai. So we have 15 minutes more. So we can begin with the next chapter. Chapter number 44. The killing of Kamsa. Okay, so again we'll go in the merry-go-round. So uh, Rishikesh Prabhu, you can read the first paragraph.
After Kamsa's wrestlers expressed their determination that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the killer of Madhu, confronted Chanura, and Lord Balram, the son of Rohini, confronted Mustika. Krishna and Chanur, and then Balram and Mustika looked themselves hand to hand, leg to leg, and each began to press against their other with a view to coming out victorious. They joined palm to palm, calf to calf, head to head, chest to chest, and began to strike each other. The fighting increased as they pushed each other from one place to another. One captured the other and threw him down on the ground, and other rushed from the back to the front of another and tried to overcome him with a hold. The fighting increased step by step. There was picking up, dragging, and pushing, and then the legs and hands were locked together. All the arts of wrestling were perfectly exhibited by the parties as each tried his best to defeat his opponent.
Thank you. Tejas Prabhu.
But the audience in the wrestling arena was not very much satisfied because the combats did not appear to be equally matched. They considered Krishna and Balram to be mere boys before Chanur and Mustik, who were the strongest wrestlers, as solid as stone. Being compassionate and favoring Krishna and Balram, the many ladies in the audience began to talk as follows. Dear friends, there is injustice here. Someone said, even in front of the king, this wrestling is going on between incompatible sides. The ladies had lost their sense of enjoyment. They could not encourage the fighting between the strong and the weak. Tanur and Mustik are just like thunderbolts, as strong as great mountains, and Krishna and Balram are two delicate boys of very tender age. The principle of justice has already left this assembly. Persons who are aware of the civilized principle of justice will not remain to watch this unfair match. Those taking part in watching this wrestling match are very much enlightened. Therefore, whether they speak or remain silent, they are being subjected to the reactions of sinful activities.
Not very much enlightened. Not so. Okay. Sahil Prabhu, you can read, I think. Yeah, you can read these
Sure.
3 paragraphs.
Sure, Paulji. But my dear friends, another lady in the assembly spoke out. Just look at the face of Krishna. There are drops of perspiration on his face from chasing his enemy, and his face appears like a lotus flower with drops of water. Another lady said, don't you see how the face of Lord Balram has turned specially beautiful? There is a reddish hue on his white face, because he is engaged in a strenous wrestling match with Mustik. Another lady said, आवाज नहीं आ रहा है क्या?
हाँ,
Yes,
आवाज नहीं
now
आ
it
रहा
is.
था. Sahil
Okay.
Prabhu is there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah. Another lady said, don't you see how the face of Lord Balram has turned especially beautiful? There is a reddish hue on his white face, because he is engaged in a strenuous wrestling match with Mustik. Another lady in the assembly addressed her friend. Dear friend, just imagine how fortunate is the land of Vrindavan, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is present, always decorated with flower garlands and engaged in tending cows along with his brother Lord Balram. He is always accompanied by his cowherd boyfriend, and he plays his transcendental flute. The residents of Vrindavan are fortunate to be able to constantly see the lotus feet of Krishna and Balarāma, which are worshipped by great demigods like Lord Shiva and by the goddess of fortune. We cannot estimate how many pious activities were executed by the damsels of Vrajabhumi so that they were able to enjoy the supreme personality of Godhead by looking upon the unparalleled beauty of his transcendental body. The beauty of the Lord is beyond compare. No one is higher than or equal to him in beauty of complexion or bodily luster. Krishna and Balram are the reservoir of all kinds of opulence, namely wealth, strength, beauty, fame, knowledge, and renunciation. The gopis are so fortunate that they can see and think of Krishna 24 hours a day, beginning from the milking of cows, or husking the paddy, or churning the butter in the morning. While engaged in the cleaning their house and washing their floors, they are always absorbed in the thought of Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, let me check. Okay, Prashant Prabhu, you have joined just now, so you can read. The gopis वहां से पढ़िए.
The gopis give a perfect example of how one can execute Krishna consciousness even while performing various type of material engagements. By constantly being observed in the thought of Krishna, one cannot be affected by the contamination of material activities. The gopis, therefore, are perfectly in trance samadhi, the highest perfectional stage of mystic power. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that one who is constantly thinking of Krishna is the first class yogi among all kinds of yogis. My dear friends, one lady told another, we must accept the activities of the gopis to be the highest form of pity. Otherwise, how could they have achieved the opportunity of seeing Krishna both morning and evening? In the morning, when he goes to the pasturing ground with his cows and cowherd boyfriends, and in the evening, when he returns with them, playing on his flute and smiling very brilliantly.
It is piety, not pity.
Piety,
Highest form of
piety.
piety. Okay, you can read one more paragraph.
When Lord Krishna, the super soul of every living being, understood that the ladies in the assembly were anxious for him, he decided not to continue wrestling but to kill the wrestlers immediately. The parents of Krishna and Balram, namely Nand Maharaj, Yashoda, Vasudev, and Devaki, were also very anxious because they did not know the ultimate unlimited strength of their children. Lord Balram was fighting with the wrestler Mushtika in the same way that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was fighting and wrestling with Kanura. Lord Krishna appeared to be cruel to Kanura and he immediately struck him thrice with his fist. The great wrestler was jolted to the astonishment of the audience. Kanura then took his last chance and attacked Krishna just as one hawk swoops upon another. Folding his two hands, he began to strike the chest of Krishna, but Lord Krishna was not even slightly disturbed, any more than an elephant is when hit by a flower garland. Krishna quickly caught the two hands of Kanura and began to wheel him around, and simply by the certifical action, Kanura lost his life. Krishna then threw him in the तो जो ऊपर threw him to the ground. Kanura fell just like the flag of Indra, and all his nicely fashioned ornaments were scattered hither and thither.
It's Chanura. Chanur and Mushtik. So ये आ का मात्रा है Chanur. So you can next time you
Chanura.
can remember. And this is centrifugal. We have read in science, na centripetal centrifugal force. So centrifugal. So thank you. Next, Aman Prabhu, you can read next two paragraphs.
Mushtika also struck Balaram, and Balaram returned the stroke with great force. Mustika began to tremble and vomit blood. Distressed, he gave up his vital force and fell down just as a tree falls down in a hurricane. After the two wrestlers were killed, a wrestler named Kuta came forward. Lord Balaam immediately caught him in his left hand and killed him nonchalantly. A wrestler of the name Shala came forward, and Krishna immediately cracked his head with a kick. A wrestler named Taushala came forward and was killed in the same way. Thus, all the great wrestlers were killed by Krishna and Balaram, and the remaining wrestlers fled from the assembly out of fear for their lives. All the cowherd boyfriends of Krishna and Balaram approached them and congratulated them with great pleasure. While trumpets resounded and drums were beaten, the leg bells on the feet of Krishna and Balaram tinkled.
Thank you. Dheeraj Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay. So all the people gathered there began to clap in great ecstasy, and no one could estimate the bounds of their pleasure. The Brahmanas present being to praise Krishna and Balaram ecstatically. Only Kamsa was morose. He either clapped nor offered benediction to Krishna. Kamsa requested that the trumpets and drums should be played for Krishna's victory, and he was very sorry that the wrestlers had been killed and had fled the assembly. He therefore immediately ordered the band to stop playing and address his men as follows. I order that these two sons of Vasudeva be immediately driven out of Mathura. The cowherd boys who have come with them should be plundered, and all their riches taken away. Nanda Maharaj should immediately be arrested and killed for his cunning behavior. And the rascal Vasudeva should also be killed without delay. Also, my father Ugrasena, who has always supported my enemies against my will, should be killed.
It's Vasudev, not Vasudev. Vasudev, father of Krishna. Vasudev is Krishna's name. So here he is calling rascal to Vasudev, Krishna's father. So while reading, we should read with the proper pronunciation. नहीं तो पूरा meaning change हो जाता है. So Vasudev is Krishna. So he's telling two sons of Vasudev. So just remember, because when we are reading in front of Radhesham Prabhu, he will correct each and every word. So here we can commit mistakes, but we should learn and rectify those mistakes. Because when we read in bigger audience, then we have to be more careful. तो कहाँ पर मात्रा दिया है, अलंकार दिया है, accordingly you have to read. So just keep note of this. Last paragraph for today. I think सबको chance मिल गया है. Only Dhruv Prabhu is remaining. Yes, Dhruv Prabhu.
When Kamsa spoke in this way, Lord Krishna became very angry with him, and within a second he jumped onto high dais of King Kamsa. Kamsa was prepared for Krishna's attack, for he knew from the beginning that Krishna was to be the supreme cause of his death. Kamsa immediately unsheathed his sword and prepared to answer the challenge of Krishna with a sword and shield. As Kamsa wielded his sword up and down, hither and thither, Lord Krishna, the supreme powerful Lord, caught hold of him with great force. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the shelter of the complete creation, and from whose lotus navel the whole creation is manifested, immediately knocked the crown from the head of the Kamsa and grabbed his long hair in his hand. He then dragged Kamsa from his seat to the wrestling dais and threw him down. Threw him down. Then Krishna at once straddled his chest and began to strike him over and over again. Simply from the stroke of Krishna's fist, Kamsa lost his vital force.
श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय, श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय, श्री मथुरा धाम की जय. So today we have reached till the point where Krishna delivers Kamsa. So Kamsa is finished now. So from tomorrow we'll continue the remaining part of the chapter, and then we'll move to the next chapter in this series. So thank you all very much for joining today's wonderful book reading session. We had 8 participants: Aman Prabhu, Dhiraj Prabhu, Sahil Prabhu, Dhruv Prabhu, Prashant Prabhu, Tejas Prabhu, Rishikesh Prabhu, and myself. So 8 devotees joined, and we expect more will join. So you can invite your friends to join every day our daily book reading at 8:30 p.m. So we'll try to begin sharp at 8:30 so that we can have maximum coverage in half an hour. Thank you once again, and we'll stop here.